Hey YouTube, it's been a while. I think most of you know things have been a bit hectic because we've been in a pandemic. It's kind of hard to miss. But besides that, I also got a job and then quit that job and then got a new job and now I'm in school. So things have kind of been like a bit busy for me, which is why I haven't been uploading any videos. I've still been wanting to get back to YouTube, but it's just been kind of hard, like getting back to it and finding the time to. So I'm trying to start doing that now. And so this, I think, will be my second video that I upload. I'm trying to like film them all in a day. I know I was never really that consistent with my YouTube videos, but I'm trying to be a bit more consistent. Anyway, I've been trying to think of YouTube video ideas for like a while now. I guess I had like a whole year to be thinking about YouTube videos. But one of the things the ideas that I've been having is like, I've seen like, there's a lot of YouTube videos of people like drawing or making a song or coming up with like choreography for a dance or even making like games and stuff. And I've just seen like a real lack of like videos with writing, like just like the process of writing. Like they exist, but compared to like the other types of videos, like there's not that many. I think that part of the reason that there are not that many videos about the writing process is probably because it's really different from other types of art. There's a lot more planning, outlining, and research that goes into writing, and that is arguably a little more important at times than the writing itself. You want to make sure that you plan, you outline, you do good research before you actually even get to the writing. And so all of that background information is just as important to the process and can be a bit harder to capture, I guess. Like when you're drawing or something, like usually it's all about making the final product, but with writing there's a whole lot of steps before you even get to the product of writing. And then even then, usually once you actually start writing, it's not that good because most writers don't create perfect works of art the first time. They have to edit and then edit and then edit, and there are some writers who take years to edit like a single short story. And so trying to capture that process in like a 5-minute video or 10-minute video or whatever is difficult. There's really a combination of the before steps, before you even get to the writing, the planning, the outlining, the research. Then there's the writing, and then after that there's the editing. So there's these 3 different steps, and each of them can take hours, days, weeks, years. It all depends on the piece. So most people don't do this all in one sitting, and depending on the length of the piece, that would probably be impossible. So if you're writing a novel, for example, I've seen live streams and stuff where people are doing the NaNoWriMo project, and it's basically they gotta like film every day or every week or whatever they're doing, and it's like in parts. And so because of that, you usually don't get like the full story, or if you were, that would be hours of filming and a very long video. There's also the issue of like spoilers and stuff. Like how much do you want to show on video and how much do you want to like leave out and leave back for the writers to read it for themselves? Because most people, when they're writing novels or something, like they show the process but they don't show the whole thing. So it's just like pieces of it, because you don't want the readers to already know what's going to happen, and then you publish the novel and the readers are just like, oh, I've seen this all already. Like they're not gonna buy your novel, they can just see you make it on YouTube. So that's part of the reason. And even outside of like the actual writing, there's also a lot of life that goes on when it comes to writing. I guess what I mean to say is experiencing life, going outside, the outside world, not sitting in your house all day, is a very, very big part of the writing process. For example, I had a professor who taught a creative writing class, and he'd often take them out of the classroom and just sit in benches outside on the campus and listen to people having conversations, observing people walking by. And that kind of thing can be a major part of writing, just observing things around you, the environment, people, and kind of having that influence your writing and your story process. So with all that in mind, I think you kind of get that the writing process isn't just happening at your computer. It's happening constantly throughout the day, even throughout weeks and even years. There's going to be days when you don't get any ideas, and then all of a sudden you see a news headline and you're like, oh, I should write a story about an arsonist. Or you're walking at the park and maybe you see a scene of some people arguing or something, and like you're not a part of that, you're just an observer, but you kind of like feel what one of the people are feeling, and you're just like, I want to explore that feeling. And so you go home and you take out a pencil and you just write. There's a lot of times when people see something going on or hear about something going on, and they really connect to it, and they like feel something, and they just need to explore that through writing. And so that's another aspect where the outside environment, what you're seeing in daily life outside of your house, outside of your bed where you're like writing, and it's a very important major part. It's a very important part of the writing process. Maybe you're even in the middle of writing a story, and you're trying to figure out a way to kill someone while only using supplies that you can find in a bathroom. And so you have to get up and go downstairs to check what kind of objects are in your medicine cabinet that one might use to kill someone. And don't even get me started on all the times where I'm writing at a reasonable time in the day, and then I have to stop because I ran out of ideas, and then all of a sudden at 3 a.m. I have the ideas because my brain finally decides to start working. So writing isn't a straightforward process at all. And even once you start getting to the actual part of writing, you have all the research done, you have the outlining done, you know exactly what's going to happen, you're there sitting at your computer writing. It can be really boring to watch. Like, I don't think anybody wants to watch someone sit down at their laptop and type for 3 hours. But then again, there are 10-hour videos of paint drying on YouTube. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the writing process happens in the writer's head. So there's a big lack of like visual aspect to it. So when translating that to a video format, it's kind of difficult because you're really just going to be watching writing or typing for however long that goes on. And usually because of the concentration it takes to write, there's not going to be a lot of audio either, to drawing, which is entirely visual, or songwriting, which can be visual in terms of using an instrument or a digital workstation, and then has a lot of audio, obviously, because it's songwriting. And even dancing has an audio and visual aspect, as well as gaming often does as well. So when you're talking about videos of people writing, like, what exactly is going to be the visual aspect of it? Is it just going to be the typing, the words? How much of that are you going to show? Because you don't want to always show the entire story. And in terms of audio, like, what's going to take the place of audio when the writer is in the middle of writing? Like, is it going to be something that's edited in afterwards, like a voiceover, or what? And so there's a lot of like decisions that have to be made in order to actually make an interesting writing video that I think isn't as easy as a lot of other art forms. I think that's kind of the reason as to why there's not all that many writing videos on YouTube. Basically, there's a lot of different like steps and parts to it that make it difficult to film. And then even if you were just to film the writing part, it can be kind of boring or mundane to watch at times, depending on what's being written, depending on how focused the writer is and all of that, how much the writer wants to show before even the actual piece is finished. Like, there's a lot of writer, like the first drafts, if you're showing the first draft, the process of that, like writing the very first version of your story, that's not something most writers want to show because it's probably going to be trash. So if you're not doing that, then you're skipping all the way over to the editing process or your second version. So there's just like a lot that goes into it. I want to see like a lot more writing videos on YouTube. I want to see other people's processes. I want to see the way they get ideas, the way they kind of make those ideas into outlines for a story, into plot, how characters come to life, and how the story ultimately gets written and then edited and funneled into the final product. So with that said, writing videos is something that I kind of want to try out, just to see what people's response to it are. It's kind of difficult to like decide like where do I want to start? Do I want to start with me like looking up prompts or like getting the initial idea of the story? Do I want to start with the actual writing? Do I want to start already having an idea? Do I want to start with the outlining? Do I do characters first or plot first? Because I honestly don't really have a method in which I write stories. I kind of just do whatever, however it comes to me. So different stories, I do different processes. Different stories, I do different things first. For example, I might come up with the idea first. I might come up with a character first. I might come up with a plot. I might just come up with the setting. Or I might just come up with a line or a beginning or an ending. It all depends on the type of story. And I guess that unpredictability and like exactly what story do I want to show, what do I not want to show, kind of makes it a little more difficult. But I think that's something I kind of want to share with all of you. I'm going to be working on a little story, probably. So that's what I'm going to be working on. And I'm kind of going to try my best to film that process from the beginning to the end. So coming up with ideas, outlining, plotting, making characters, and then putting the story together, editing, and then the final product. I'm going to try, and I'll see also how that works out in terms of making sure not to spoil too much or spoil a lot, or just write the whole story on camera. Hopefully I can find time to do all this week, and we will see how it goes. So let me know if me making writing videos sounds something that interests you. Just seeing like my process of how I come up with ideas and write stories and stuff. Let me know what kind of stuff you want to see. Do you want to see me write poetry ever, or do you just want to see fiction or fantasy or sci-fi? Do you want me to do like a mystery story, a horror story? Do you want me to do more flash fiction, short stories, or do you want me to do a longer piece, like a novel, and basically show the entire process of writing a novel all on YouTube? So yeah, there's a lot that I can do with this, and it all depends on what you guys want to see. So let me know what you guys are interested in, and I'll try to figure out if I can do it. This video is kind of a call out to other writers as well to make writing videos. It's something that I really want to see. A lot more videos of people, of writers, like in their process, making stories, coming up with ideas. Those are videos I'd love to see. So if you make videos where you write, or of YouTube channels where people write on camera, then I'd love to see them. So put them in the comment section, or message me them. And yeah, I guess that's it for this video. And if you want to see my process of writing, and yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing, lovely day. And that's it for this video. Like, subscribe, and do all that.